And we're live for day one of Vive coding till I hit 1 million in revenue. Woo, let's go. So I'm not actually going to be really vibe coding. In some cases, I'll actually have to jump into the code or, do through this or that. But for the most part, I'm going to try to stick to allowing for the AI tools to do as much of the heavy lifting as possible. And honestly, should really be trying to get to that future where we're just being the command element here and basically directing different agents to do different things. And one of the ways that I like to think about things and what I kind of grew up on is StarCraft, which you can see here on the screen, StarCraft 2. I'm not actually playing, this is just a screenshot. I would obviously be macroing better and not having 30,000 minerals and a lot of gas. And also 22 SCVs being idle. Not great. That's actually a good thing. I'm going to pick that up later for idle agents. Anyways, the reason that I have this one up is to talk about the first product that I'm going to be working on. And I'm just going to be going through an overview of a bunch of different projects that I'm going to be working on, all attempting to contribute towards the 1 million revenue threshold. And I'd really love it at some point every single time an app makes a certain amount of revenue. Maybe I'll just say like the nominal first $100 or something like that. Print out a logo for it and stick it on the helmet. And this will be the first $1 million helmet. And maybe I'll have multiple of them because I'm sure this series, if I'm so lucky to hit 1 million in revenue, I don't know, we'll keep bumping up the ante. 5 million in revenue, 10 million in revenue. So long as inflation doesn't go out of control, we should have reasonable milestones going forward. So, a lot of really fun stuff. I'll probably build like a little bar, and who knows, maybe I'll vibe code it a little bit later. A little bit bar. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe like below me, or maybe I'm trying to still figure it out there, right? Like just above me along this side of just 2 bars, like one for how much money that I've made, possibly connected to Stripe, and then just a total cost, which I don't know. I don't know if I want to connect it to like a credit card or something, but we'll guesstimate how much certain things cost. We'll do like a monthly roundup if it, you know, we'll probably do that. Just be like, how many tokens have I used? What subscription cost it is? Because I see a lot of those indie hacker gurus that are on social media, and they're always boasting about their 1 million in revenue or whatever. And it's like, okay, how much does that cost to get there? How much do you value yourself and all that type of stuff? So we can do that audit after a month or so. But yeah. So why is StarCraft on your screen right now? So one of the things that I often think about is how well in video games, right, with games like StarCraft, micro, macro, they're terms in the game that talk about optimizing actions per minute, how many clicks, how many things that you can hit on the keyboard to have as many units doing as many things as you'd like to do in order to accomplish an objective. Generally, beating the crap out of your opponent, right? But, the onus of this game is there's a lot of different things. You have units that you got to control, you have an economy that you're managing, right? And the economy is the macro portion, and the macro portion is always these are the amount of resources that you are gathering. Let's try to good macro is you're trying to reduce that as much as possible towards zero, right? Within reason, right? If you're trying to save up for an army, that's understandable. But, if I have 500 minerals, well, I would like to be able to create more production buildings so that I can utilize that income better as it comes in. Harvesting more minerals, I'll predict that I need this many barracks, which is the basic production building for Terran, which is the humans, which you can see on the screen here, producing the little Marines, which are these guys right here, right? And 50 minerals per. You can pump them out, put a reactor on, which you can kind of see on the starport here that produces 2 at a time instead of 1, and you start trying to optimize your economy. And this min-maxing that comes naturally to RTS players and to video game players in general, like you will anticipate at some point hitting the grind that when I play a multiplayer match like we see here, I'm going to be starting in this bottom corner here in the minimap. The enemy is very often in this corner, and I am 9 times out of 10 playing a game where it's a diagonal interaction. Sometimes your spawns are over here, right? So you have like one side of the map. I think those eventually kind of went away in StarCraft, in like Heart of the Swarm or Wings of whatever the Protoss DLC was or expansion pack. But yeah, like the whole goal is you're going to be grinding a lot. You're going to be doing a lot of the same things. And eventually there are build orders, right, that players eventually figure out, like, I'm going to do this thing at this point, at this point, at this point. It's generally going to be the same game in, game out for the openers with some minor variations based off of the map, based off of, what enemy race I'm playing against, right? Whether it's Zerg, Protoss, Terran versus Terran, a mirror matchup. Like, I need to adjust my strategy a little bit, but the opening is generally the same. Different expansions also kind of flipped it a little bit. More workers in the later expansions, so that kind of messed with the build order a little bit, right? And so, when we think about all these things together, right? The grind of having to do something over and over and over again, but doing it in an engaging way so that you feel good about min-maxing, right? Trying to, minimize the amount of resources that you're using to maximize the most result, right? That even when I'm talking about macro, right? Macro, I'm trying to tamp the amount of minerals that I have stored up because unlike, storing it in a bank, I don't get interest on these resources. I got to spend them, and I got to spend them in the most effective manner possible because 30,000 minerals sitting in the bank is not in my army, it's not in my production, it's not in my economy, and it's not contributing towards anything. So when we think about things like trying to manage an economy, we now are in the token economy in AI, right? And that we have to min-max things to some extent. We have a certain number of resources, literal money now, right? We're not in a free money era anymore where we can just, spend it on frivolous things. The new technology of the age in, AI tokens, right? Very strong analogy to, when we're working with cloud, we can't really go crazy with cloud because, these things are pretty expensive, right? It's an infrastructure cost. It's a utility cost. I mean, it hurts just as much as, for the regular homeowner, lights, heating, anything else, right? And we're just trying to min-max it. I will turn off the lights when I leave the room. I will turn off the heat when the temperature rises up to a point and I don't need it anymore, right? I'm not going to just turn it on for the sake of having it, right? And so just like, most VC businesses, the costs are subsidized as they're trying to, improve the product, maintain adoption. At some point, that dam bursts and things get pretty expensive. It's happened to every single vital piece of technology to date. When companies go public, the public markets eventually, right? I think, what was it? Warren Buffett says, right, that, every company stock at some point is like a voting machine, right? Everyone can just put something down on it, right? But at some point it becomes a weighing machine, right? Where, the cows come home, the chickens come home to roost, right? And you gotta be able to make a business out of stuff. Totally understand. We're in a moment in time right now, right? And I hope I'm making sense in this rant or, explanation, right? That we're living in a moment in time right now where VCs are still subsidizing AI spend, even though it is still expensive, right? Just think about, like, if it's really expensive now while VCs are subsidizing things for us, just imagine when that goes away, right? And our $5 Uber ride becomes 30, right? that we should be taking advantage of it now. So, again, to just wrap everything up into a bow, the economics and trying to manage AI spend and do it in an effective manner that produces objective results, we still have to go beat the guy, right? When we face an opponent in the game, we still have to beat him. I can have the greatest economy, a lot of minerals and Vespine gas in the bank, but I still haven't won until I actually go out and do something, right? And so that's why it kind of works hand in hand. And the reason I keep thinking about this game when I'm working on Bismarck AI, my AI orchestration, I call it an engine, but I'm trying to think of a better word for it. Maybe a platform. Platform feels not the right term for it, but I'm thinking of you, the human, needing some form of engaging and effective, the two E's that are most important to me, engaging and effective interface for you to go and do your task, right? Whatever it is. And so, why do I care about effectiveness? I think that should be self-explanatory. Like, you need to actually be able to do your job well. StarCraft is incredibly responsive. It's well known for being incredibly responsive. You play some other RTSs out there, and units seem to have the mind of their own. They're going off. They're doing their own thing. StarCraft is super tight. You click somewhere, the unit is going there, and it is super responsive to a level where, people with really strong micro can do almost superhuman looking things. It's almost as effective as if the top AI systems out there, like AlphaStar, which is an AI system developed by DeepMind to play StarCraft, right? It looks uncanny. Some of, how people are able to, interact with systems in the game, micro, stop, move, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move, and be able to, make it almost look like a dance with some of these units. StarCraft is a system, right? A video game that allows for people to do that. If you try doing it in a different game, let's say Company of Heroes, if I'm trying to stop, move, A move and stutter step with units, it's just the game's not built for that. And, it's a different deliberate design choice, right? Kind of a fog of war, World War II, like orders get a little bit of lag before units actually respond, right? And maybe some of it's a little bit technical as well, but it's not as tight. And so that's why the effectiveness is really important there. So that was pretty self-explanatory. The other one that might be a little bit harder to understand is engaging, but I have a video game here right in front to show you what engagement means in my head, right? Or for something to be engaging, that I'm willing to grind at something. Pokemon just came out, right? I downloaded it onto my Switch, right? I'll be playing Pokepedia at some point. Really excited. I recognize that every Pokemon game, there's a grind to it. I've got to level up my Pokemon. I've got to, face off against the same, there's a limited roster of Pokemon that I will see over and over and over again. And I only have a team of 6 to go and battle with, right? And, rinse, repeat for hours on end. It's got to be an engaging system for me to be able to want to do that, right? And a lot of us are 9-to-5 workers. We spend lots of hours of days working on various systems, and we kind of have to work with them, right? But kind of having to work with things doesn't make for somebody to want to min-max at doing something, right? Unless there's some form of motivation or they're naturally gifted at it, they might naturally be min-maxing at it, right? For the most part, I'm not min-maxing Jira, right? When I'm working on a project, I'm not like, oh my god, I am the wizard at Jira and I can know all the hotkeys to move tickets around the board, right? Like, I know all the hotkeys in StarCraft because I played it a long time ago. Even to this day, 10 years later, from when probably the last time I was playing StarCraft super seriously, I still can, stutter step and play and micro. It's just ingrained into me just because I played it for so long, and the system is engaging enough and built in a way that is simple enough, right? Simple and yet complex for power users, right? In a kind of SaaS sense that allows for someone to want to invest time into learning it. And when they leave it behind and then pick it back up later, it's like riding a bike. They know exactly what they're going to be doing. So those are some of the design philosophies that I'm using to go into a lot of the projects that I'm building. Being super effective for the users, right? And whatever their user journey is, their story is, the product's got to be super effective, right? It's got to be the best in class out there. Caveat, it's got to be super enjoyable to use, right? And I am going to go all in on gamification in the world of AI, right? Everyone's on a level playing field to be able to create SaaS products and dashboards, right? Everyone's going to be able to create something that's like Salesforce, something that's like Slack, something, there are motivated people out there who can create that. What is something that AI, even to this day, as I'm still testing it out to make sure that it's not there yet, is to be able to craft narratives, to be creative, to come up with cool stuff, right? And for me, coupling myself with an AI agent who's able to work creatively is like something that's super cool. So I'm just going to let this play in the background to like kind of have a little bit of engaging motion behind me. But, right, like we want to have a mix of both. Something that's enjoyable to use and, something that is effective at the job that it's doing, right? All right. What else about StarCraft that I care about when it comes to Bismarck and AI? And in fact, let me bring it over real quick. So this is the basic interface, and we're going to be working on it. I had to port it from an older version to this newer version. But yeah, the goal is to have obviously this top header, but then this header here, we're going to have something called a campaign, right? Which is going to be a top level agent, right? Or a top level space that allows for you to control various agents, right? And each of these agents, whether it be done through a CLI tool like Claude Code, Codex, or Gemini, or directly via API, right? There's a lot more on that. Each of those sessions, right, is what we're calling a mission. And a campaign manages all of these missions that are ongoing, right? So we're creating a storyline and a little bit of some flavor around Bismarck AI so that, we can have that engagement, right? People coming back, building something, having meaning, having a little bit of flavor as they work, right? And just having them all along the top here in various tabs, as for a lot of developers working nowadays, right? We just have numerous terminal windows like this, right? I think that it's important for people to be able to tab switch through these very quickly and efficiently, and especially in some form of a web interface. Now, how can we best do that, right? Well, if you look down here, right, and this is the whole video is about like control groups, you can see that there's different hotkeys here, and they correspond to numbers on your keyboard. And so when you're not typing in a particular number, I want you to be able to click through different campaigns that appear as tabs along the top, as if it's like VS Code, right? And I guess do I have one up? I don't have one open. But for most developers, we know what VS Code is, but just assume like, hey, these are like browser tabs along the top, right? And I'm able to hit 1, 2, 3, 4 to cycle through them. And hey, this one needs attention. Hit 2 to get there. Hit 2 again to go to the second mission. And, hit Alt 3, right, to get out and up to the higher level, to get back to the, overall campaign, and then be able to switch back and forth. Also, we can create standalone missions, right? If you just have a one-off, you don't need that orchestration layer to be able to manage multiple agents working on the same code base, for instance, right? I just need to go in. I have a spec that I created in ChatGPT. I'm copying it. I want to just document it down and get it into a Git repo so that I can, push it to a campaign at some point, but I don't want to forget about it, right? That would be like an example of a standalone mission that you would do, right? And the interface right now, not the best to be able to handle some of that, but yeah. So what else? So yeah, the hotkeys, right? So like being able to select through and go through 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be something that's great. I actually really like this. I totally forgot about it, right? So if your SCVs are idle, that means they're the resource gathering units in the game, right? You kind of see these little bit of coloration going on. That's the person hitting the keyboard. I recognize that to be able to select a particular unit that they want, right? Back to the unused SCVs here. That would be like your agents, the number of agents that need your attention. You click on this. In StarCraft, it'll auto-select all of the SCVs so that you can send them to a mineral patch somewhere else. But I think that, for us, it would just cycle through the open sessions. Not open, but the sessions that need your attention. So that was the little bit there, right? Some of the design rationales behind Bismarck AI. That's going to be the tentpole flagship product that I want to build out so that I am working through it. I am not using the WSL terminal interface. So I'm going to take a quick break real quick. I'm just going to turn on some music so that everyone, is a little occupied while different things are working. I guess we have something already working. Yeah, so we had a branch that we needed to pull in. So we'll just have that working. But hopefully people enjoy a little music. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll have to adjust the audios a little bit. It gets a little bit loud, so I'll just turn that down a little bit. But yeah, overall, I think we're in a good spot. I'll be right back. We're back. Woo! Alright, let's see how loud this is. Oh, I can't actually listen. Oh no, how am I going to do this? Can I do this? Oh, this is really soft. Oh, well. Okay, that's pretty good. A little soft. Okay. Alright. Probably just going with headphones for now. We'll save the helmet for special occasions when we don't have music going. But cool. Let's see here. So yeah, this one. Let's create a plan to do code base. Yeah, just phase D. Step 14. There we go. There's that. So how I often work through a lot of these different projects, and in fact, I'll even go through an example right now because I was creating a spec while I was away. Let me just pull it up. So it's Gary V's content pyramid, but I wanted to create it into a SaaS. So here, I'll even bring it over just to show this is a very exhaustive spec here. So I'll just copy that. But yeah, basically, I wanted to create a website that serves. Let me just expand this. I wanted to create a website that serves as a SaaS that enables Gary V's content pyramid. If you don't know what that is, create one long form piece of content, split it up into shorter form YouTube videos, right? That level of size, like 10 to 15 minutes, and then from those 10 to 15 minute videos, cut it down even further into YouTube Shorts, TikTok, that type of stuff, right? So I was just thinking about there's 3 parts to it, right? So like a ticketing system, Jira system, where we can work on planning, coming up with different ideas, and being able to make sure that things can work, in a sequential fashion or in parallel as necessary. Opus Clip being the kind of automation tool to be able to chunk up a long form piece of content into smaller pieces, and then Buffer for ultimately redistributing it to all social media platforms, right? So My goal is to allow for a single person to mimic the power of a full marketing team while scaling to enable full enterprise team operations. So if I had an employee, multiple employees, we're able to still work on that same system. So it can serve a range of things. Now, what is probably going to happen is, and I guess I'll talk more about it in technical implementation, a new thing that I'm kind of coming up with the world of AI is that we can start chunking things up into products based off of customer profiles a lot earlier. So, when we're talking about the single person, the single content creator, I'll call it, that first cohort, they'll have one product. And then the enterprise product will be a separate product. So I'll probably note that when I transfer the spec over to Claude Code and have it, basically split it up. And then it goes through, it talks about all of that. The content pyramid operating system, I like the sound of that, turns one long-form pillar piece of content into complete marketing distribution system. The product manages planning, execution, editing, repurposing, scheduling, and analytics across platforms. The core value proposition: record once, publish everywhere, operate like a full marketing team. Love it. It merges three major functions: marketing planning and workflow, AI-powered repurposing, distribution, and analytics. A powerful thing that I want to eventually get to with across all products really is the ability for us to watch like a Kanban board in action, an AI spinning up and going out to do a task. It registers a ticket. The ticket moves through different parts of the different lists, if you will. Like, oh, this is the backlog list, the to-do list, in progress, done, etc., etc. Being able to see like it automatically go through and boop, 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 all that type of stuff. Like, it can work headless right in the background, but it would also be cool to kind of see it operating in real time. So yeah. The core workflow, like, this is obviously AI coming up with this type of stuff, but I've talked about it before. YouTube videos, the mid-tier content, I guess it goes with 3 to 10 minute clips. I was kind of thinking about like 10 to 15 minute YouTube videos, but then there's splitting it down even further, right? So the goal is one podcast being 30 pieces of content, for example, right? And so we'll have multiple different things: the command center, and that's the cards, and then we have the AI repurposing studio, Opus, and Descript. Okay, I've used Opus Clip, that's why I mention it. I haven't heard of Descript. I guess we could technically look it up. Record, edit, stream, promote. Oh, okay, I see. So it's the actual recording software. That's fine. I think for now we'll probably try to leverage like OBS or something. Make it like an OBS plugin. So like you can add the thing and this might I have to think about how this would work, because I don't want them uploading it into the cloud, the whole YouTube, like the whole long form piece of content. That would be really ineffective. So there might be like a local in the cloud, it's like just the clips, or yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. I personally use Camtasia Studio to do a lot of post editing. It's like the same copy back when products had product keys, right? That type of stuff. So yeah. So I already copied it. So let's go in, and I'm gonna create NP new product. And what should I call this? So like with pyramids, I'm in a StarCraft mood, right? So I'm thinking about Nexus. So Command Center was also what they named it earlier as well. I don't think the Zerg Hatchery has any. Ooh, I mean, the Hatchery. Oh, actually, but like I don't know if most people will like the Zerg theme behind it. Like if I'm thinking about branding, like, oh, there's what could be hatched? Maybe frogs. Like there's pieces of content and they grow up over time when they have legs. like, something attraction that had leg. I'm trying to think about that for a second there. I mean, they named it pyramid, but obviously the connotation of a pyramid scheme is not the best for a branding perspective, so think about that for a second. I'll just call it content pyramid for now. And where will that go? Probably web application. Yeah, but like we have the desktop portion. It might be a mix. Like it's not tools or web. I think I'm gonna go with web. So we'll do 13. This is a custom tool that I created to be able to initialize products. So now that we have this, we'll just jump into Claude. And what we're going to do is just do first install workflow orchestration. So this is the Claude MD that was provided by Boris, I forget his last name, Boris, Claude Code Boris. And he came up with his MD, Claude.md, so I guess you can take a look at it. It's on his Twitter, so if you just look for it, you can probably find it. But this is just a basic template, right? It adds it to whatever existing Claude code is there, or we create it. I just turned it into a skill to be able to do that. So, plan mode by default. We try to use sub agents as much as possible. Self-improvement loop, adding things to a lessons.md so it learns. Verification before done, never mark a task complete without proving it works. If your behavior between main and your changes when relevant. Demand elegance, right? Pause and ask if there a more elegant way. Bug fixes, right? Given a bug fix or bug report, just fix it. Don't ask for handholding, all that good stuff. Task management, plan first, verify tasks, track progress, explain changes, document results, capture lessons. So that's the whole process there. Core principles: simplicity first, no laziness, minimal impact. Which is great. So we're gonna create that for now. Here, what we're gonna do is update docs, commit and push. Plan to implement the next step. So we'll do that. That's usually the process that I go through to get through a lot of these steps. So now I'm going to paste in this really long spec here and say, here is my spec. Or actually, what I'm going to do is /plan interview, which is another skill that I've created that basically just loops the ask me questions tool to basically get as much clarification as possible when working through a spec. So I'm going to paste in the spec, and then after that, right now, just write to /docs, and we'll just do that for now. Next step after that is to take our implementation plan that is created through this interview that we're going to be doing, and then splitting it up into phases, where at the end of each phase is like a milestone. We go in, we test the code, make sure that it works properly, and then we break up those phases into individual steps and we work through it step by step. So you can see that I've already split it up for a lot of these, right? Phase, and these, I don't know why, sometimes it chooses phase A, B, C, D alphabetically, or it chooses numbers. So always interesting to see that. So right now we're just gonna, go output it to docs, and feel free to ask me questions on any of the different pieces of the spec at a particular tech stack that I often like to use, and so that's what we're going to be doing. So let's see, that one's running there. So we can do some introductions on some of the guys back here as well as we get through here, but we have the Ask Me Anything tool, so maybe I'll try to fill up time as needed. But for right now, let's see. Yeah, we have 3 different personas. So actually, we'll say I want to create a mono repo for 3 different products that will serve the different personas. Create 3 separate, oh my god, if I can spell, separate specs for each of the versions, as well as a common core, packages spec. So that's 4 specs now. Spec list: file upload for video audio as in scope for MVP. Handling large media files requires an object store upload architecture and potentially pre-signed URLs. For MVP, should we support actual file uploads or start with metadata only source assets? Paste transcript, link to external URL. So actually Opus Clip does, allow for or ask us to take from a YouTube video. So I wonder about that. I'll mention that, right? Opus Clip generally asks for a YouTube video link. Does that help? Also, we could have a local first desktop app to allow for users to set, to edit, or to create, edit, and finalize their videos before it is uploaded, right? Uploaded, tracking can be done between the desktop app and the web app via APIs. There's multiple options there. Let's brainstorm different options, because I agree for an MVP. Let me just make sure that these are accepted while they're not waiting up for me. I do agree for an MVP. Large file storage would be not the best. Mentions the board can be campaign scoped, workplace scoped, or both. This affects. So they're recommending workplace scoped. So 1 board per workspace showing all content across campaigns. Cards can be filtered by campaign. Simpler model gives a single operational view. Campaign detail pages can filter the same board. That's a good question. I think it depends on persona. So I'm almost tempted to say both from launch. Like, I think an individual person just having like a workspace scoped, thing would make sense. But I think that for large companies, right, depending on like, oh, we got to plan out our Halloween campaign, we got to plan out our Christmas campaign, and we got to, figure out our in-between, our fall campaign, we got to plan out for New Year's and Valentine's Day, the time after, right? There's a lot. So I think the real answer is leaning towards both, due to the fact that each persona might require something different. So we'll just put that out there. We'll see what, how the agent reacts to some of those things. But yeah, these are significant pivots, so it's fine. We'll have good discussions on those types of things. So good. The component itself was okay. The test file was the sole consumer. We've already updated it. The layout test pass. Okay, is that with the playwright testing, or no? It's VI testing. Okay, great. Let's check that no other consumers input. Okay. So created tab picker helpers, extracted all types. Yeah. So part of what we're doing with Bismarck AI right now is just like code quality stuff, where we're basically splitting up large files, making sure that we extract commonly written code everywhere, because AI gets a little overzealous on that type of stuff. Yeah, I think it might have to be 3 separate Next.js applications. So they're just asking with a mono repo, how do we want to structure things? I agree that 3 separate web apps would probably make the most sense. Subdomains. Pyramid OS. I don't know if that's actually something that exists. We'll just do this real quick. Let's see, accept YouTube video URLs, extract transcript via API, plus manual transcript paste for any other source. Covers 80% of. I mean, yeah, like option 1 for solo. Option 1 for solo. Option 3 for team/enterprise. The desktop app idea is interesting, but significantly expands scope. Should it be part of the initial spec or documented as a future roadmap item? Building a desktop app is essentially a separate product with its own engineering timeline. Yeah, I mean, we just talked about 3 Next.js applications, right? I'm actually going to change my answer here. So, like, yes, separate, but we will probably need the desktop app to support the teams/enterprise customers. Honestly, we can fork OBS or create a plugin, because I'm using OBS right now to stream, but just to be able to record things or do those type of operations. I mean, we can fork OBS or create a plugin to help streamline things. We would need an editor, and web editors kind of suck, so desktop might be a better option. Also, the YouTube links would require a user to upload a video that they might have produced like raw content, right? Require you upload raw content that is inefficient, making them upload a potentially long piece of content. It becomes a bottleneck. So we'll have that. This one's fine, and then oh yeah, I think there's that. I mean, I don't get this phase 2 plus talk here, but I think we're gonna lock in building it for the MVP. It's just a different MVP, right? So just like how I have multiple different products here. By the way, this bottom one here is, which one is it? Is this one Loadout-Works? Yes, it is Loadout-Works. So I'm working with an old friend of mine on a yet to be announced project, but it's basically a tool for gun owners. So I am a gun owner and someone who's I'd like to believe a reasonable advocate for firearms and lawful, well-educated and trained gun ownership. So this is something that I am somewhat passionate about. I know it doesn't jive with some people, but I think it's important for me, and working with making it a better space overall, I think is productive for all society. So that's down in the bottom left corner if you were wondering what I'm clicking through there. We'll have probably a bigger discussion about that later, but I think it was enough explanation at the beginning for Bismarck AI in the top corner here. For the desktop app, what's the primary tech choice? Towery, Electron, forking, extending, OBS, C++, powerful but very different engineering skill set. Oh boy. It wants tower to like rebuild everything. So one of the weird things that I do have to recognize here with this skill that I'm gonna actually have to go back and tweak a little bit is it often talks about my skills, right? It's like, oh, can reuse your existing React/TypeScript skills for the UI layer, right? Video ad, blah 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 blah. But like, it's not my skills; it's your skills. I mean, I'm overviewing it, but guess what? I'm probably doing because I'm not. I know C++, C and C++, so I'd probably be leaning more towards that. I don't know Rust, if at all. Right? It says, oh, my React and TypeScript skills would help for it, but I'd probably just copy it into ChatGPT and just have two different companies cross-check each other. So honestly, I think what I'm going to do is look. Making these products is cheap. Like we're just trying to get the minimal viable product out. So I think an OBS plugin/fork probably seems like the most streamlined thing than creating a full app from scratch. Obviously, we're beholden to OBS, and I always hear other streamers complaining about how OBS this, OBS that, but honestly, it's the best thing that most people have anyways. So yeah, we'll go with this, but we can obviously also just spin up a Towery app as well to go through things. So yeah, given the scope, 3 web apps plus desktop app plus shared packages. What's the build priority? Should we spec all 4 products fully now or spec the solo web app? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I think it doesn't cost us anything to fully spec things out. So we are going to spec them all out right now. Turbo Repo plus PNPM. Makes total sense. I'll probably dump this on Vercel to start and then transition us over to AWS at some point. So yeah. It's just like AWS, that's like a $200 something cost. I'm still on the free plan for Vercel. It's like, okay, we'll prototype it, make sure everything works in that. Then when we launch, we get our first revenue, we should start thinking about like getting it onto whatever. So the OBS fork/plugin route means C blah 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 blah. Yes, I have the experience. I don't know why you're saying I'm hiring for it. Also, OBS is GPL license. A fork must also be GPL, which limits commercial licensing option. A OBS plugin can be separately licensed, but less control over the UX. So I think let's do the plugin for now. For the shared core, yeah, all those look good. Single managed DB, yep, we'll just do that for now. And singly managed DB will also help because it'll allow for us to easily allow for someone to, upgrade and evolve over time. Right? Like, hey, I'm just a little person, but we took off and now I have a team. Can level someone up. What specifically differentiates the free web apps beyond feature gating? If they share DB, auth, TRPC router, okay. The main difference would be UX complexity tiers. Right. Yeah, that was what we were talking about earlier. Okay. I don't know where I put my glasses. I put my glasses over here. Record plus auto update metadata. Right. User records in OBS. Plugin triggers local FFmpeg processing, transcription, clipping. Results sync to Pyramid OS API as okay. I mean, it's weird. They don't have a recommended here. Plugin tags recording with campaign/workspace info on stop. Plugin uploads that. User edits locally, then manually uploads file to YouTube. Okay, that's the YouTube thing. And I don't want cloud storage, so we're going to go with option 3. AI providers do you want for content generation? Hooks, captions, summaries. Isn't Whisper the tool? I think we'll just provide multi-provider with fallback. Users bring their own keys. I mean, I want to do the credit system, same as Opus Clip. I think it's a more durable business model, so I think I'm going to go with that. But we'll do multi-provider with fallback because there might be downtime between different systems, and I don't want that affecting us. YouTube's captions API. Solo tier uses. Oh, right. Oh, shoot. I forgot about that. YouTube caption API. So if we're just focusing on solo users, there's this. I actually totally forgot about the fact that like YouTube upload is still a thing. I forgot about that. Local Whisper, whisper.cpp. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Oh, that's so weird that that exists. I didn't know that that existed. I mean, local usually shouldn't break, right? I mean, that's just like, oh, the app crashed or whatever. So we should be fine with that. I think this one's almost done if it's building. Okay. Alright, this one's running integration tests. Okay. Oh, this thing's about to auto-compact, so we gotta get us out of here. So I actually also do a variation. So like I like to clear and just don't hit auto-compact. It's not even like I actively try to avoid auto-compacting because it doesn't make sense because all I'm doing is planning and then clearing context to do the next step anyway. So it wouldn't make sense to auto-compact then do planning and then clearing. It's just better to start with start it from fresh. My goodness, that's a lot of errors. Anyways, for publishing in the MVP, the spec mentions a publishing queue abstraction, which platforms should actually have working publishing integrations in V1 or just queue/schedule internally. All 3 tiers schedule content internally. Users manually copy-paste to platforms and mark as publish. I mean, can we do this? Or this? Like, they recommend this. Weird. Well, that's not how it would work, right? Like, copy-paste to platforms. Like, that's a piece of social media content, I suppose. But I think that we should probably... actually, no, tell me more about options 2 and 3. Tier model, planned field on... Okay, so the data model needs a tier or planned concept on workspaces to differentiate solo/team/enterprise capabilities. Should workspace tiers be determined by which app they signed up through or by a field plan on the workspace record? Allows for future tier upgrades without switching apps. Single source of truth in the DB. That's interesting. I think about that. I mean, they use subdomains, so I think this will be fine. For auth across the 3 apps, should a user have one? Yeah, they should. Single sign-on. Single account cross-application. Okay, we hit compacting. Not great. Okay, what happened? What was this thing even doing? Cherry pick. Oh, yeah, I'm just going through a lot of these. Okay. Honestly, like, what are we gonna do here? You know what I'm gonna do is just copy this. I'm gonna clear context. Oh my god. Oh, slash clear. One slash. There we go. Slash clear. There we go. we're going to paste this in here and say, can you verify that this plan has been complete? If not, or yeah, validate all work that has been done. Because the more context that's been filled up by Claude, I generally notice the worse it performs. So I just want to do like a full validation where there's no context. And then if there are outstanding items remaining, then create a plan to tackle those issues. Cool. So we'll just let it work through that. Let's see here. Okay. So publishing deep dive. YouTube data API v3 poll. You can upload videos, subtitles. Okay. Requires OAuth consent screen approval from Google. Can take weeks. Ouch. Uploading actual video files. Okay. I see. Given the file storage constraints, start with internal scheduling plus manual publishing workflow. Add platform integrations in phase 2 when OBS plugin can provide files for. I think we kind of have to do that. I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money to do those uploads, so that's a trade-off that we're going to have to work on. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, whoa. Option 1, let's not do the publishing ourselves, but give the user the tools and lay out all the steps and pieces of the content in a place where they can easily do it manually. Okay, this one's done, so we can do that. But we're far away from context. So yeah, last mile publishing. We'll probably have to think about that later down the line. I mean, it's tough out there. For dual scope board, workspace plus campaign, should the workspace board be the primary view with campaign boards as filtered subviews, or should they be independent boards with separate column configurations? Primary board plus campaign filter. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's this. I mean, I'll say option 2. Option 2, but with strong duplicate slash templates. Slash board templates. To quick start a campaign. A new campaign. Oh. For solo users, should solo users see a simplified onboarding that skips workspace naming and goes straight to create your first campaign? The spec has workplace creation as a separate step, but solo users may not think in terms of workspace. I would auto create one. Simplified solo defaults. I would say, yeah, like option 1, but let them make adjustments after being presented with defaults. Okay, there's that. interesting watching the recording to make sure that everything works right. Day one will be a mess. I also have to cut out like a huge portion in the middle for the later upload, so hopefully I'm loud enough, the music's not overbearing. Let's see, what's the AI UX? For AI content generation UX, when a user wants to generate derivatives from a source asset, how would the AI interaction batch generate with review? Yeah, I think that would make sense. I mean, I feel like it's both option 1 and 3, right? Like, option 1 and 3? Maybe option 3 can be in phase 2 plus? For the multi-provider AI fallback, should the provider selection be automatic? System picks based off availability, 6 costs. Option 1, but we will be using platform provided credits by upfront. For analytics in the MVP, since publishing is manual, internal queue only, performance metrics would need to be manually entered. Is that acceptable, or should we skip the analytics dashboard completely for MVP and focus on operational metrics, throughput, how many assets created, scheduled, etc.? Yeah, I guess we'll do this. The providing fake data seemed kind of weird. Alright, let's see. What do we do? Okay. We got to this. Build. New fix. Okay. Outstanding issues. Let's fix the shipping details type error. Then on the port branch. Yeah. Then commit. Yeah. We'll just do this. I'll just say merged into, I don't know, create. I would say create PR. Create PR, review it, then if approved, no, push to master. Or merge, sorry. Merge the port branch into master. So great. Simple credit balance. Subscription plus credits. There's different pieces to it. So like there's the Kanban portion, there's the actual AI bit, right? And then the desktop application. Yeah, there we go. I think it would be this. So like option 2, because we should charge for the Kanban portion plus desktop app eventually, also the publishing. What's the minimal viable plugin feature set? Can add done. FPS dock panels. Okay, this is wrong. Alright, that looks good. The issue is that... Okay, yeah, so this is just fixing a stripe issue. So is this... Sorry, I'm just checking a setting real quick. There's my face. Hello everyone. I think there's also streamer mode that I should be turning on. / streamer. Stickers. Oh. I would love. Oh, they're using Sticker Mule? I don't like that company. Not anymore. Solo tier is free with unlimited AI credits. It's asking about how I want it paid. Like, how do I describe this? Like, probably like option 1 with AI credits. Option 1 with credits purchase for AI features. Shared billing in core. Yes. Soft delete. The spec mentions derivative assets link back to source assets. Content graph. Should a derivative asset be able to link to multiple source assets? For example, a best of comp. Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe like option 1 for now. Option 2 in phase 2+. I do like that though. It's not a major pain point. For the workspace board aggregation view, since each campaign has its own board, should there be a workspace level view that shows cards across all campaigns? This would be a preference. Yeah, it's an aggregated Kanban board, so. For comments and activity, should comments support @mentions or trigger notifications to keep comments simple? Just text to the MPP. Yeah, why not? AI is not the worst. My goodness. You guys are failing, huh? Okay. Those fails, so Well, we just had fails, right? Oh, they're pre-existing failures. Okay, well, we should fix those pre-existing failures. For the board workspace Kanban, since campaigns can have separate columns, standard columns, how should these be a fixed set or configurable at the workspace? Okay. I mean, we could auto merge, right? Yeah, okay. Option 1 with linkbacks, with campaign columns being able to map to the standard workspace columns. I hate D&D kit. Well, I already built one technically, but I don't know if I want to. I'll try a new one, I guess. I mean, sure. Let's just do this. Let AI. This is a simple one. For the label/tag system on board cards, should labels be shared across campaigns or campaign level? And should they be predefined or freeform? We don't know what these are. Users type. Oh, just the tags. Okay. I think both, right? Yeah. Why would we not have freeform tags? Oh, okay. Yeah. Like the user can create tags and then they. Oh no. Those are tags within the board. Within the board. It's not like tags in a video. I think of this as fine. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how much people use tagging, so we can address this in the future as needed. Deployment, testing, and mobile considerations. So yeah, we'll probably use Vercel. Yes, I would like end-to-end testing with Playwright and VI testing. So with Vita testing, yeah, sure. I agree with that. Desktop, basic, mobile. Let's do basic mobile. I mean, we can create a separate mobile app in the future if needed. Brand voice model. Invite link. Yeah, let's do that. No emails for now. And credit base plus basic rate limit. Oh my gosh, that's kind of overkill for the MVP, yes. But let's do option 1 with option 3. Okay, great. But TSC has never been regrown. Can you do that? Do TSC build and deal with stand if needed? Let's see. Phrase it. Foundation. There. Yeah, I don't need to move stuff around. Campaign ID. board columns always belong to a campaign. I think it's the other way around, right? I think that we should have the board columns potentially link out to many campaign columns so that their cards can be compiled. Cards that are not in campaign columns that are not linked to a workspace board. Oh, is that what they're talking about? I'm not 100% sure. Given the independent campaign. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay, so they're not talking about the workspace boards at all. Okay. Yes, then it is yes required. What song is this from? Bomber 64. Wow. Did not play that. No errors. The only failures are from /mobile. Okay. I guess we'll do this because we do have a separate phase for Bismarck's mobile app. So let's do this one. Well, first let me check to see if Apidos or whatever is available. Go to Purcell. That's usually where I store my domains. Okay, I'll just do a quick, Pyramid OS. It's already taken. So is that already a concept? PyramidOS.com. No, it's just lost a lot. Pyramid OS is not available. Well, let me brainstorm it myself. What about Nexus OS? I assume it's taken. This is the StarCraft theme. Nexus OS. Content Nexus? OS? Sure will. Nex OS? Next OS? Next OS? No, I think that's already a thing. Dang, I need to think about some. We need to brainstorm some different names. Handle an automatic callback plus user notifications. I agree. Chop would be interesting. ClickMake, also another interesting one. what's the actual mathematical terms for like, what are other mathematical terms for pyramids? Polyhedron. Hedrons. It's like from Magic the Gathering. Tetrahedrons? Maybe something related to tetrahedrons? I know that crypto has poisoned a lot of this stuff. Tetrahedrons, or something like that. Something like that. Something more abstract. Could also be a fake word as well. Regardless, the final product name. Yeah, I think that would be fine. Black and White 2. Is that from that one gym leader who has the guitar? I totally don't remember. Is this available? Petra? Hedra OS? Hedros? Sounds Greek. Facet? Facet OS? Facitos? Simplex OS. SimplexOS.com. Oh wow, that's already taken. Okay. Hydros. We can also do Hydra. HydroOS. Hydros.com. It's available. Alright. That's what we're going with. HydroOS. Hedros.com with the brand name being Hydra OS. Okay. I tried. Company that does there's already an AI company called Hydra, one unified agent that understands you. I mean, they do video generation, so this is a bit not great. That might be a little bit too. Shit. We'll have to think about it a different name. Yes. Wait. Hydra is already an AI company in video generation. It seems pretty close to what we're doing. Alright, okay, if you approve of it being merged, review it again to double check, and if you're good with it, then merge. That's vibe coding. Strata is definitely a company that already exists. There's a band named Tethra. OS exists. I don't really like wanting to do Prism. Yeah, let's see. Alright, I'll think about Tethra. It's hard to say. Oh, there's some more. Like, these are definitely... jeez. Let's think about StarCraft units. Carrier, Immortal. We were leaning towards Protoss because the Nexus was literally a pyramid. Gateways, warp gates. So we can do that. Okay. Do the migration. We are pre-production. Patreon. Does this exist? Well-known brand of fillers. Patreon filler. What's next in the to-do.md? I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's just use we'll just use CPO, Content Pyramid OS. CMO. I mean, I thought we had the. We have the ClickMake. I think we saving ClickMake for something different, but we can always. Oh, we have to load more. I totally. Oh, we still have poke chops. Yes. Wait, does it still? Oh no, but I might not have it anymore. So I am working on like the Poke 2 brand, so I'm thinking about a lot of the different Poke 2's dots, those that are not too expensive. CMOS is a thing already, so I can't use that. Dang. I guess we'll have to... Wow. Okay. Let's use clickmake.com, which I own already. Does it work with this project? I believe it does, but yeah. Alright, well, let's see. Cool. What's the next step specifically in loadout reps? Do we have it broken out? ClickMake as a... Yeah, we'll do that, and then we can write the spec. Cool. So I'll usually write this in parallel, so that'll be nice. Never played Splatoon. We're on step 47 in Bismarck. My goodness. Alright, so we're in phase 4. Okay. Which step of phase 4 are we on? Okay. So we're going to clear and then tell it in plan mode to implement phase 4, step 1 of loadout reps. Cool. Let me just see here real quick with Claude / usage. Okay, we're still good. Great. Oof. It's gonna use a lot with the specs, so I just want to make sure that I'm good. I have the $200 thing, so it shouldn't be too crazy, but you never know. There's no LR-4 phase 4 defined in the roadmap or the loadout rep specs. Wait, what? Seriously? Like we just cleared context, so I probably lost it. I need to grab a cup. I'll be right back. Get some water. Alright, we got a couple bits of refreshment here. A little ginger ale and some tea. Trying to be healthy, but you know. It's always so hard. Standing desk, standing around, dancing. Also, is F1 qualifying still started yet? We're recording on a Saturday. Oh my gosh! No, Kimmy! He's crashed! Is this FP3? Yeah, it is. Damn. Okay. Wow, you just lost. Yeah. That's crazy. Major F1 how things go. I am a Mercedes fan. My Mercedes car is at work, but Mercedes Lego F1 car. I don't have a Mercedes car just yet. It'd be nice to get a G-Wagon, right? Follow me. G. Get a G-Wagon. Alright. So that's one core spec done. Well, usually it does it in parallel. I wonder why it's not. It hits the spot. Goldenrod. No, it's still Splatoon. Oh my gosh. The bells sound like Goldenrod City or something like that. I want to add to my OBS scene 2 bars. One connected to my stripe to show the total revenue that I've earned. Another is a total cost bar, but that one can be manually adjusted. How would I create the assets to do this dynamically and on my live stream? So we'll see what that answer is there. Still chugging, I guess. This one's gonna be working for a while. Oh, it crashed! Oh my gosh. Holy crap, they crashed. Wow. Alright, we have P. Bismarck over here. Claude. We'll resume, I suppose. Last thing. Continue. Oh, it crashed it. Holy crap. Caught a crash on stream. What is this? I think this is something different. Different project. No, this is loadout works. Okay, yeah. No, this one was P. Oh, what the hell did we just name it? Pyramid? Something like that. There we go. Flash resume. Continue. And P loadout works. Actually, I can hold off on doing loadout works here a little bit. But we'll do P. How did I just name it? Something about overlay. Good guess. Let's see, Claude. Flash resume. Continue. Oh wait, whoa. Actually, what I'm gonna do is go up to the top of this and do the slash plan interview. So it thinks through and creates a spec for whatever size needs to be built. I guess we should be able to sort of P loadout works. Claude. Nope, not required. Slash resume. Why'd you have to fucking dip your car against the wall? Sucks. What kind of live streaming content do you do? Understanding me. Yeah, like that. Option 1, I'm doing a daily voting to 1 million in revenue. Well, I guess we'll do that. All time total. Yes, we'll allow for all edits. Create a plan. How should OBS consume the overlay? The most common approach is a browser source pointing to a local web page as the standard for dynamic OBS overlays. Oh wow, I never thought about that. Just point tags only support the counter mode. Sure. Node.js 1. Wow, that's a lot of work, huh? Having a little upset tummy lately, so a little ginger ale is good for you. What does the cost bar represent? Understanding how to design total business costs. Yes. Yeah, I hate this thing. This thing does not help me. What? I don't know the difference. 4 lines. Probably be like 40 days until I hit even $1, right? So. Oh yeah, I said 2 progress bars. It doesn't make sense for it to be a progress bar, huh? I mean, budget cap would be nice. I guess I don't really think about that. Yeah, it'll be local on my own machine. It's not a SaaS. I'm sorry. Might release this as an open source project though, so people can use it for their own purposes if they need it. Alright, cool. All of our specs written. Now, it's ready to clear. For each of our product specs, divide it up into an implementation plan with various phases. At the end of each phase, the products should be in a working, testable state with defined milestones and acceptance criteria. Then for each of the phases, split them up further into steps. Create a plan to do so. I don't know if I should just let it run and when it does those spec changes, because it's not really implementing anything, but I wonder sometimes about do the 2 bars for the If you guys have any music suggestions as well, I'd love to hear it. I'm going with video game music just because it's probably not going to get copyright striked. Not that I don't trust you guys, but cost data persists. File. We can also do like make it cyberpunk themed. I would love that. On host, they should flip between the two over time, or we can have an option to always display. It should be up to the streamer to choose how they want to present things and what they present. Alright, here's that. Do I not have that? Okay. Grab this one from the step. Have that online hopefully by next stream. I'll probably go until 11. Mighty fast. Oof, I'm actually getting kind of sleepy, so I might call it quits after some of these things are done. Yes, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to do / install workplace overflow. Then we'll have it create a Git repo. And push. And once these things finish off, we'll update docs, commit push, and then call it a night. That'll be day one. Yeah. Okay. Create a Git repo. That is public. Descriptive readme.md, then commit push, and then we'll spend time developing it tomorrow. Phew. I was worried it was going to leak something there for a second. Alright, let's split up the spec into various phases and further into individual steps for each of the phases. Write that implementation plan to how did the Celtics do today? Tatum's first game back. Gosh! Wow. Good win. How'd Tatum do? 15 points. Pretty good for first game back from an Achilles injury. Goodness. That guy. Cool. So we'll get through the 7 phases tomorrow. React code being written here. What about that? More React code. Everyone's working on React. Oh shit. I guess dev content pyramid. This is just the plan to create more plans. Let's 20-point win for the Celtics. I don't really follow basketball that much. I'm a fair weather fan when it comes to the Celtics, so fully admit it. But I do need a team to make up for the New England Patriots. It's crazy that I went to SF the week after the Super Bowl. So sad. It was like a minor hope that I could like pretend that I was at the Super Bowl or like was around the Super Bowl during the right time. Nope, we lost. So who cares? Never even went to Levi Stadium to even look at it, but it is on my bucket list to get there eventually. Actually, we need to commit and push this as well. Don't forget that. In case something crashes, something breaks on this computer. That would not be fun. Use proxy instead. Nowhere somewhere. Probably not somewhere. This part minus the next step because I am sleepy. Oh, don't do that to me, Cloud Code. Having a good day. Alright, so loadout works is done. This one is done as well. And we'll just do this. Oh, I guess I did not write that yet. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's just skip to this one if it's going to be the same song over and over again. Oh, Muddy Kip and Skitty. Here you go. Crazy. Boom, ba-dum, bow. I was only looking for it to actually just do the work. For the Walrein Empire. For Walrein. Yeah, I really wanted to turn Warcraft into a sort of proto game. So, the Walrein Empire, Bismarck obviously, famous for being Chancellor of the German Empire. Not the Emperor, not the Empire of Germany, but the German Empire. For Otto von Bismarck's great walrus mustache. Yeah, it's gonna be like something pretty light touch for the start, but I'd like for it to maybe become the main thing at some point where like we can try to use AI to craft a story and like just create like a very light touch way to make the work that you're doing engaging, the interactions that you make with various agents be a little bit more flavorful, and go from there. So, basically wrapping up for tonight. I don't know if I got a lot done, but I got a bit of explaining stuff out of the way. It's going to be also very cool to see, like, hey, you all in the audience are my board members, and, you know, right now there's 0 viewers, transparently, right? Nobody's watching, so we're kind of speaking to, historically, whomever may stumble upon this in the future. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I've done enough in my life that warrants everyone appreciating my hopefully extensive career. And, yeah, everything starts with a humble beginning. And I'm super excited. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think there was a great opportunity here with AI and, you know, being able to get things going. So, hopefully you can hear the things that I said, and that the music's not too loud. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. Until day 2, which may be shorter because I'm going out with family, but some of these streams will just be me chilling here on mute, running stuff with music being predominantly in the background. So I will listen to the recording to see how my voice sounds in relation to, you know, the stream and some of the things going on. I'm like literally listening and trying to adjust it as, you know, I'm like, oh, this song's louder than this, or this, you know, whatever. Like, maybe I should be more willing to have the music be a little bit softer in the background. I mean, obviously another song that I would be interested in doing, like the Pokemon Market. What was it? Poke Shop song? What is it? Oh my god, I totally forgot it already. Like a Pokemon Emerald Market song. Shop song? Mart? Yeah. You just play this on loop the whole time. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it if you actually got to the end here. Look, I just want to really inspire people while also, you know, hopefully being accountable to myself, that I'm working, pushing things forward. You know, with AI, it's not just the fact that you can build things, but it's actually being able to push it out there and and be able to accomplish whatever the goals are, which is to make money. In my case, I need more resources to do more of the things that I want to do in life, and as well as, you know, just making sure that all this AI spend is not for naught, right? I'm not just puffing up Anthropic's bank account. I think I'm in Codex jail, so there's no GPT because I was experimenting with it earlier. But yeah, we'll be adding Codex to the mix. Gemini, if it ever works, I'll be sure to add it. I don't feel like getting banned from anti-gravity, which I hear is the common experience, so I'm probably not going to be using that. But you know, hopefully this whole interface just gets replaced with Bismarck AI anyways. So thank you again so much for watching, and until day 2.